How's it going, everyone? Eulier Gonzalez here. Today, we're going to explore now what is code coverage as a way to understand and be able to describe that when somebody ask us about what is this, what is the value proposition of this, how can we use this, what are the tools available to make that happen. So the TLDR of this code coverage is to have a metric of how test is your source code. Or in other words, let's go to dive deep into this code coverage here. All right. So it's a metric of how much of your source is test. In other words, it means that this gives you a report of the function coverage, the function, statement, branches. So in your code, how many of your branches of the control structures, the if, the switch, for example, has been executed, right? Conditions, how many of the Boolean structure or sub-expressions has been tested, and then line of code. This is the report that, for example, tools like C8 or Istanbul. So Istanbul is one of them, not the city, right? And it's to me, it's quite interesting that they mentioned and they put a code coverage tool for that. So Istanbul, GS, right? It's a JavaScript test coverage tool. It has this particular format, right? About the file, the statement, the branch, the functions, the lines, and the condition, which is something they didn't mention, but it also has. The condition is of all of these sub-Boolean statement. This is how it's going to look like. It say, hey, this line of code has been called X amount of time, which is great, all right? However, having a high code coverage doesn't mean that your code works as expected, because it only tests how much of your source is tested. So if you have some wrong logic, code coverage doesn't mean anything. So for application, having a high code coverage is something that is not ideal, especially because all of the moving part that it needs to be done. So yeah, you wouldn't like it, or it becomes unflexible if you have to hit some sort of threshold, right? However, for libraries that you need to that particular tool actually works as expected, yes, code coverage is useful. There are also V8, so for example C8 code coverage, okay, code coverage, right? Like this. It also followed the Istanbul format. This is not native for the V8, right? Like NGC, C8 just work magically. NGC, exactly, that is compatible with Istanbul Reporter and Istanbul GS, where the call now is NGC. Why they call that like that? Quite interesting. I don't know. There's a couple of stuff that you don't need to know, but the call is NGC, right? The command line interface of Istanbul, of this code coverage report. All right. So with that, let's go to now not only see the code coverage report, but also how can we generate this kind of report on GitHub. And then so generating is the artifact using GitHub Actions. In this case, is this logs or code coverage reports. And then generating this report in artifacts. So before that, let's take a look at what Steve Kinney, the head front-end engineer at Temporal, needs to says about this. All right.
I kind of go, and I had like the kind of pre-baked version because watching me write this is not super useful or interesting to anyone involved. In this test directory, in your Vitesse config, and like it's just a different. They are both using the same libraries under the hood. There are like 3 popular libraries for code coverage: NYC.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right now, so there are 3. There are 3 popular JavaScript code coverage tools. All right. NYC, CA, and Istanbul. NYC, C8, and Istanbul. NYC. Isn't this the same? Oh no, Istanbul command line interface. And Istanbul monorepo contains the various nuts and bolts that facilitate Istanbul's test instrumentation. And then you have now C8 as well, which is this. Output coverage report using Node.js built-in coverage. So Node models have that. Yeah, CommonJS, but it has coverage. Yet another JS code coverage tool that computes statement, line, function, and branch code coverage. Wait a single one. What the hell is this? Istanbul JS. Yeah, but it says that C8 output coverage report using Node.js built-in coverage. Node.js built-in coverage. What is the Node.js built-in coverage? Oh, this one from the command line. Oh, shit. All right. Okay. Node v8 coverage. When set, Node.js will begin outputting v8 JavaScript code coverage. Okay. JavaScript code coverage. Code coverage provides information about whether and optionally how often certain part of an application has been executed. It is commonly used to determine how throughoutly the test suite exercise a particular code base. Why is this useful? You may wonder. You may often find yourself in a situation in which code coverage could be useful for interest in the quality of your test suite, refactoring a large legacy project, for maintainability, refactoring a large legacy project. Code coverage can show you exactly which part of your code base is coverage. We want to quickly know if a particular part of the code base is rich. Instead of instrumenting with console log and printf style debugging or manually stepping through the code coverage can display live information about which part of your application has been executed. Okay. If you inherit large code bases, which is what happened a lot of the time when you get hired by a particular company, especially big companies, of course they have these huge, massive, gigantic code bases that they need maintainability, that they need that somebody, you, a team or a group of team, help them to actually make easy for adding, modify, do a refactor like this, and migrate like migrate a breeze. Now, Or maybe you're optimizing for speed and would like to know which spot to focus on. Execution counts can point out how it functions in loops. So you get a point, especially for providing maintenance to large code bases for enterprise code bases. It makes a lot of sense to use a code coverage tool. To know is that how many of uh, how much of this how much of this code is being called on your tests, all right? How much of your exactly? How much of your source is tested? That's what happened. Which means that how much of your test suite, or how much, what is the quality of your test suite? Again, it doesn't tell you the quality. It tells you is how much of your source is test. So it can pinpoint is from your code base, what are the logic that you have tested. It doesn't mean that your logic works as expected. It only tells you how many of your source is tested. So for scenarios like refactoring, of course, it makes a lot of sense for that. And also you want to see the quality of your test suite, or for debugging your app to see how much of your, because this is through to debugging, bro. This is through debugging. You know, you want to quickly know if a particular part of your code base is rich. Or if you're optimizing for that. JavaScript code coverage in V8. Early this year, we added native support for JavaScript code coverage to V8. The initial release in version 5.9 provide coverage at functions granularity, showing which function has been executed, which was later extended to support coverage at block granularity in version 6.2. Likewise for individual expression. For JavaScript developers, there are currently two primary ways to access code coverage information. For JavaScript developers, Chrome DevTool Coverage tab expose JavaScript and CSS coverage ratios and highlight that code in the source panel. Interesting. Thanks to Benjamin Code, there is also an ongoing work on integrate V8 code coverage information into the popular Istanbul GS code coverage tool. For embedders. Embedders and framework also can hook directly into the inspector API for more flexibility. V8 offers two different coverage modes. Best effort coverage collected coverage information with minimal impact on runtime performance but might lose data on data garbage collector function. And precise coverage ensure that data is lost to the garbage collector and users can choose to receive execution counts instead of binary coverage information, but performance might be impacted by increased overheat. But okay, a conversation through the inspector protocol might look like this. I love they mentioned this, that a conversation. The embedded directly V8 to begin collecting precise coverage like this. Hey, I would like you to start precise collecting coverage. Embedding request coverage data since last request. The reply contains collections of nested source, and this is the result. It's like, hey, for block granularity, array of nested range, byte off inclusive, star offsets, and offsets, and this. And of course, the file and the output file. Again, this might go beyond the scope of this. Oh, precise coverage, a block granularity. this might go a little beyond the scope of this, because what we really care about is uh, explore, yes, how can we do this? How can we use, what is code coverage? What tools can we use? What is the value proposition of this? And then actually do that, right? There are also other tools like JavaScript Sonar, right? Let me see, is this one? And like this, exactly. So tools like this, I think it is. Sonar QB server is a, please don't translate that. The Sonar QB server is an on-premise analyst tool designed to detect coding issues in 30 language frameworks and infrastructure as a what? Infrastructure as a what? Sonar static codes analysis. We believe secure quality software comes from secure quality code. Since 2008, we have been devoted to helping developers around the world deliver clean, secure code. At Sonar, we're passionate about helping developers deliver the best application that delight users while keeping them safe and secure. For us, delivering a great product starts with transparency. We're an open company, and our rules database is open as well. We put all of our static analysis rule on display so you can expose them and judge their value for yourself. For each rule, we provide code samples and offer guidelines on a fix. Even more importantly, we also tell you why. We offer it all here publicly because whether or not you choose or to use our analysis, we want to help you and your team with write better code. That's what the using is now. Sonar. In an ID, Sonar Cube, ID extension that lets you fix coding issues before they exist. You can go install each one of them. And the Sonar Cube Cloud and the Sonar Cube Server. That's quite interesting. And I think they're using this and how it works.
Sonar Lint by Sonar is a free extension for your development environment that covers all of the most popular programming languages. Like a spell checker, Sonar Lint squiggles coding issues and performs on-the-fly analysis to detect common mistakes, tricky bugs, and security vulnerabilities, all while teaching you clean coding practices, so you can spend less time on fixes and more time being creative. Start your clean code journey today with the always free Sonar Lint from Sonar.
This was 2 years ago. Sonar Clean Code Solutions help developers deliver high quality, efficient code standards that benefit the entire team or organization. Exactly. Static analysis rule. Out of the box Sonar Cube provide is this. Interesting. Analysis is specific requirement. To analyze JavaScript and TypeScript code, Sonar ID require Node.js executable. The minimal support is this. And okay, so they're going to provide you is now rules for this. To do a static analysis. Okay. Code smell, minor and bad practices. What is this issue? And then you have now 426 rules for that. Vulnerabilities, bugs, security hotspot, code smell, and quick fix. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. So, mm-hmm. Continue should not be used. Okay. Okay. The question is that, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The question is that Sonar helps developers write clean code. The question is that where are you getting this? You know what I mean? Where are you getting these conventions? You know? Where are you getting these conventions? Let's go to ask now Claw here for that. Mm-hmm. So this static analysis is focused on good practice in analyzing the code without actually executing it. It's like having a very smart proofreader that checks your code for potential issues and help maintain code quality. And let me break down. Yeah, it's like a type checking. Yeah, it's like a type checking. Code quality checks that code detection and security vulnerability detection. But again, my question is that what Sonar, where Sonar takes this static analysis recommendations, where the Sonar take this recommendation, this analysis recommendation. Sonar Q's deliver it is a static analysis recommendation from several sources, industry standards and best practice. It comes from OWASP, Open Web Application Security. Mm-hmm. It comes from CERT. It comes from CWE, Common Weakness Enumerations, databases, and language-specific style guides like Google JavaScript style guides. Mm-hmm. And language-specific style guides. Common weakness enumerations. Oh, here we go, bro. Crap. A list of software and hardware weakness. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. All right. All right. This is a static analysis. Mm-hmm. 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 Interesting. Okay. Okay. This is for code coverage tool, right? And we are then talk about is a static analysis. Exactly. Then static code analysis. Okay. All right. Are we gonna talk about that later on? Static analysis and all that kind of stuff. All right. No, that's not. Okay. Just a side note. Or a word on Sonar. Yeah, a word on Sonar. This is a static analysis, like a type checking that evaluate your code before run, evaluate your code before run. So particularly Sonar here is a collection of good practices and style guidelines, okay, from OWASP. Okay, let's get into this, man. From OWASP, Open Web Application Security Project. Okay. So open web non-profit cyber, use password-free authentication, corporate supporter, eShare, Invici, Salesforce, and Equinix. OWASP, Open Web Application Security Project. Open Web Application Security Project. Okay, makes a lot of sense. You have now the CWE, that stands for Common Weakness Enumeration. Which is Common Weakness Enumeration. Okay, this is for the common weakness on software and hardware. God damn it. So the banks know some stuff. A list of software and hardware weaknesses. Okay, interesting. Latest version of this list, external mapping and all that kind of stuff. Interesting. And helpful views. Software rating in C, software rating in C++, in Java, in PHP, obsolete view, or legacy. Navigate CWE, view by software development, by hardware design, and by research content. Okay. Software development objective. This view organizes weakness around content that are frequently used or encountered in software. This includes all aspects of software development lifecycle, including both architecture and implementations. Accordingly, this view can align closely with the perspective of architects, developers, educators, and assessment vendors. It provides a variety of categories that are intended to simplify navigation, browsing, and mapping. Audience, stakeholders, software developers, or educators. Software developers, including architect, designer, coder, and tester, use this view to better understand potential mistakes that can be made in a specific area of their software application. The use of concepts that developers are familiar with make it easy to navigate this view and filter it by most instruction and all that kind of stuff. Educators use this to view the future, to teach future developers about the type of mistakes that are commonly made with a specific part of code bases. API function errors. Weaknesses in this category are related to the use of built-in functions or external API. Usage prohibited. Must not be used to map to real-world vulnerabilities. Reason category. Rationality. This entry is a category. Nature has member. Use of inheritance dangerous functions. Use of function with inconsistent implementations. Undefined behavior for input to API. use obsolete functions, use potential dangerous functions, use of low-level functionality, expose dangerous method or function. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Improper following of the specifications by color, direct use of unsafe GNI. Oh, okay, bad practice, direct management of connection, direct use of socket, direct use of threads. This is a bad practice, direct use of threads? Okay. Direct use of sockets, use of synchronization primitive, use of AWT swing, and use of Java input and output. Mm-hmm. This is in Java and C++. Vulnerability mapping allowed. Okay, so we're getting into the rabbit hole, bro. We're getting into the rabbit hole. Bad coding practices, behavioral problems, business logic, errors, and there is a huge, long list of this. Complex issue, concurrency issues, credential management error, cryptography issues. Holy moly. Random signal errors, string error, type errors, user interface security issues. Oh, that's interesting. That's what is relevant for us. Mm-hmm. Software development product UI does not warn user of unsafe actions, insufficient UI warning of dangerous operations, unimplementing of unsupported features in the UI, obsolete features in UI. The UI performs the wrong actions. Missing password field masking. Missing password field masking. Insufficient protect credentials. But again, this is improper restriction of rendering UI layer or frames. Okay, alright. Again, it tells you basic stuff. You know, it tells you basic stuff. The cert, but I think this is from the cyber. Yeah, what CERT stands for? I don't know. Computer Emergency Response Team. Oh, okay. Computer Emergency Response Team. Computer Emergency Response Team. Was first used in 1988 by the CERT Coordination Center at Carnegie Mellon University. To the existing of malware, especially computer worms and viruses. Whenever a new technology arrives, its misuse is not long in following. The first worm in the IBM VNet was covered up shortly after a worm hit the internet on 3 November 1988, when the so-called Morris worm paralyzed a good percentage of this. This led to the formation of the first computer emergency response team at Carnegie Mellon University under the U.S. government contract. Of course. With the massive growth in the use of information and communication technologies over the subsequent years, the generic term CSR refers to essential part of the most larger organization structure. Cyber Emergency Response Team, but by the Morris worm. The worm's creator, Robert Temple Morris, is the son of a cryptographer, Robert Morris. Ah, that makes sense. Cryptographer, who worked at the NSA. A friend of Morris said that he created the worm simply to see if it could be done, and released it from the Massachusetts Institute of the Technology (MIT), in the hope of suggesting that its creator studied here instead of Cornell. Clifford Stoll, author of the Ku Klux X, tracking a spy through the maze of computer espionage, wrote that rumors have it that Morris worked with a friend or two at Harvard's computing departments. Harvard student Paul Graham sent him mail asking for any news on the brilliant projects. The war exploited several vulnerabilities of targeted systems, include a hole in the debug mode of the Unix send mail program, a buffer overflow or overrun hole in the finger network service, the transitive trust enabled by people setting up network logins with no password. Okay. Requires me via remote execution with remote shell. The word exploited weak password. Morris exploited became generally obsolete due to decommissioning RSGS. Okay. Remote shell. Normally disabled on trust network. The Morris Internet Worm source code. Holy moly, bro. Thought Morris said that he did not intend the worm to be actively destructive, instead seeking to merely highlight the weakness present in many networks at the time. Oh my god. Replication rates. Morris transformed the worm from a potential harmless intellectual and computer exercise into a vital denial of service attack. Okay, Morris' inclusion of the rate of copy within the worm was inspired by Michael Rabin's mantra of randomization. The resulting levels of replication proved excessive, with the worm spreading rapidly, infecting some computers several times. Rabin will eventually comment that Morris should have tried it on a simulator first. During the Morris appeal, okay, yep. Yeah. In the field hackers. In the visual novel Digital A Love Storage. In the Ku Klux X. This is interesting, this Ku Klux X. Stoll detailed his effort battling the Morris worm. Halt and Catch Fire. The Ku Klux X. And this is a book. Yeah. Book written by Clifford Stoll in his first person narrative. Accounts of the hunt of the computer hackers who broke into the computer at the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratories. Stoll's use of the term extends the metaphor Ku Klux X from broad parasitism in birds to malware. Broad parasitism. A shiny cobra chick left being fed by a Rufous Coleridge sparrow. Brood parasitism is a subclass of parasitism. And the phenomenon of behavior patterns of animals that rely on others to raise their young. This strategy is a subclass of parasitism, a phenomenon and behavioral patterns of animals that rely on others to raise their young. The strategy appears among birds, insects, and fish. The brood parasite manipulates a host, either on the same or another species, to raise its young as if they were its own, usually using egg mimicry. with eggs that resemble the host. The strategy involves a form of aggressive mimicry called Kirbian mimicry. The evolutionary strategy relies on parasitic patterns from the investment of rearing young. Nest Eastern phoebe nests with one brown-haired cowbird egg at the bottom. Evolutionary strategy. Okay. Okay. Shiny cowbird parasiting masked water tyrant. Masked water tyrant in Brazil. Parasiting. Okay, that's oh shit. That's. Water tyrant. That's interesting. Parasite. Brute parasitism inverse to malware. Okay. In any case, yeah, that go beyond the scope of this, but to understand now what Sonar is, and how now Sonar use their certain security encoding standards, the okay, the CERT, okay, the computer emergency response team, and the language specific style guide, and the language specific style guide. That's very interesting of what Sonar is using behind the scenes, allegedly, right? And that's what they have the Sonar here. Okay. Again, it gives you is basic stuff, fully automated, up to speed with latest frameworks, benefits shared across dev team. That's interesting. That's very, very, very interesting. Secret status code analysis. And because, well, at the current company that I'm working, launch darkly token should not be disclosed. That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. Well, any security token, by the way. Stripe tokens, none of that. Okay, and the others are very specific language, whether it's from JavaScript or JavaScript, TypeScript is or TypeScript here, like so. Okay. Code smell, minor and bad practices. Alright, maintainability. Tags, API designs. Alright. That makes a lot of sense. This is interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. Impact, maintainability. Exactly. So show me only those that are in the maintainability. Model should not import itself. Exactly, to avoid any circular reference. With Sonar lint. That's interesting. That's massive. hmm And I think that people don't recommend Sonar here, which is quite interesting, because this might be for big companies, huge companies, and quick fixes. hmm And quick fixes. Use has own property static method instead of has own property. Exactly. And it is good enough because now it describes you why is this. You should also avoid calling the has own property directly without using the object of prototype as a source. This can lead to a runtime error. Exactly. It can give you more info and give it to you to that. Knowledge collision should be preferred. Consistency, conventional. And maintain. That's okay. Does Microsoft actually use this kind of stuff? I don't think so, because this is quite new. It's quite new. Is Sonar. Can I take a look at the code basically with the Git? Sonar is smoothly integrated with GitHub Lab. Yeah, but who is using that? Sonar. Static code analysis is this one. Exactly. Status code analysis, man. Open source, regex, quick fix, and multi-language. Again, this is for JavaScript, but this is not exclusively for JavaScript. Reduce technical debt with clean JavaScript code in each release. But I want to know which companies are actually using this. You know, which company are using Sonar? Okay. Used and loved by 7 million developers and 400,000 organizations. IBM, Microsoft, exactly. This kind of tool is for big, huge, massive applications and corporations. Okay. All right. All right. So that'll be all for this video. Take care. Bye bye.